So we're going to take a look at big idea 2, which is function notation. So again, as I'm filling out my paper, you're filling out your paper. The instructions say watch this video while you're completing your sheet of paper. So mine's going to be the same here, but different questions. Bring it to me to check so that you can get back to today's work. So it has to be right in order for you to move on. You have to understand this big idea. It's in 3 other units. Okay, so a very, very, very big part of your EOC. All right, so let's go ahead and make the connection for you. So in 8th grade, we did a linear equation, which is y plus mx plus b, right? Which one of this is m is the slope, and that's going to be everything next to the or left of the x, and then your plus b. So everything after the x, that is your y-intercept, and it happens when x equals 0. So your y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. Okay, the only difference from your 8th grade work moving into your 9th grade work is that we replace the y with f of x. It just gives us a little bit more detail. And that detail is this letter f represents the name of the function. Okay, so this is the name of the function. The x represents the input of your function. What are you putting into the function? And it's independent. And how I want you to remember this is, think of you and your guardian or your parents, right? Your parents are independent. They don't ask you for permission to do anything. So they can do whatever they want. But the thing that is dependent is you. You are dependent. So the output, that means everything after the equal sign, whatever number that is after the equal sign, you are the dependent. So you depend on whatever your parents say. So whatever is going into this function is what determines what the output is. So we're going to go ahead and say the output value. Right, so the output value is found after plugging in the input after the equal sign. So again, before the equal sign is your independent, right here the x, and then the function f is your name. Everything you get after that is your output. And just remember, you are a dependent to your parents who are independent / guardians. All right, so now that you know the general gist of it, so let's go ahead and get started. I need y equals mx plus b. That is the format that we are looking for in our calculator while we're doing this. So I'm just going to go ahead and type it up here just for reference. And we know what each thing means. M is my slope, B is my y-intercept. Okay, perfect. All right, so now there are 4 different types of questions I could give you. I could give you a graph, I could give you a table, I could give you a function, I could give you a context. The premise of all of this is exactly the same thing. You just need to be able to recognize what the question is asking. So we'll start off with the graph. Okay, so look at this graph. Now yours should be a different graph, so take a second to look at it. I always want, in fact, I want to go ahead and put this note somewhere. I always want you to have 3 things. Okay, so I'm going to write these things. When you're talking to me about functions, so write this down in yours. Okay, I want 3 things. Number 1, what is the title? Like, what is the whole thing about? Number 2, what is the x-axis label and number? And hashtag this with number. And then number 3, what is the y-axis label and number? So anytime you're talking to me about functions, I want these 3 things: the title, the x-axis with whatever number you're talking about, the y-axis and the y-axis label, and the number you're talking about. All right, so let's take a look at this, and I'm going to highlight my 3 things. All right, so what I want you to do is grab a highlighter if you don't already have one. So the relationship between the number of seconds a drone descends and its altitude above the ground can be described by this function. I don't even have to read that to know what this is talking about, because remember, I need 3 things. I need the title, so go ahead and highlight your title. I need what is the x-axis labeled, right? What is the y-axis labeled? And whenever the question comes, I'll get the numbers for the x and the y. So I've labeled the 3 things that I need anytime I'm talking about functions. But let's go see what the questions are. So these are just the problems themselves, but the questions are on this other page. So it says, my first question for my graph, so it says, answer the following questions for each representation using the information from page 1. So looking at my graph question, write the function that represents the altitude of the drone. So I'm writing a function. Okay, now remember, a function is the exact same thing as what? My equation. The only difference is I don't do y equals 1 letter equals, I do 2 letters equals. So I'm writing a function, and they told me to use what function? A of t. So you're going to use A of t. Okay, so I'm going to say A of t equals, and I need y plus mx plus b. I don't have anything in my calculator. How do I put this question in my calculator? So think about that for a second. How do I put this question in my calculator? Well, I can see X values and I can see Y values, right? What's that? That's a table. So go ahead and press plus table. And now you're going to input points. And I want at least 3 points. So what do I mean by points? I mean, I need to find a corner. So I'm going to start at the top right here. Here's a corner right here. And anywhere there's a corner, I want you to go ahead and put a dot. So I'm going to come down here. That's a corner too. I'll put a dot. Then come again. Oh, that's a corner too. Okay, put a dot. Come again. That's a corner too. Put a dot. If you're not understanding what a corner is, let me go ahead and draw it. You see the box right here? The corner of the box is these points right here. If those points touch the line, so for example, if I draw this like this, does that go through one of those 4 dots? It does not, so that is not a point. But if I draw a line like this, that touches one of those 4 dots, so that is a point. And that's what I'm doing over here. So I'm just marking out my corners, and there's a corner right here. I only need you to find about 3, so I found 4. Okay, but find 3. Now we're going to put our corners into our table. So to put it in our table, we need the X value for our corner and then the Y value. So if I go here, what is my X value? So come down to the X, I can see it's 4. So I'm going to put 4 here. And I can see it goes with 40. So I'm going to put 40 on this side. So go ahead and put your first corner in. For this corner, I'm going to come see my X value is 3. So because my X is 3 and my Y value at that corner is 45. And again, I need 3 points. My next one is 2 and 50. All right, now once you put that in, I want you to zoom fit again, so you should be getting used to this process. Hit my flag. Does the line go straight through? Yes. Does it look like this one? Yes. Now, you may think it doesn't because this one looks a bit steeper, but it's just how spread out the boxes are. So is it going down? Yes. Does it start at 60? Yes. Does it go through 12? Yes. Okay, so just check your points are going perfectly through that one. Now I have successfully transferred this question here. Now I can answer whatever question they ask me. So once you've got your graph in Desmos, start answering the question. Write the function that represents altitude with one. So it is a of t, and whatever yours is, go ahead and use that because it has to be that. So you see, my name was a of t, right? Where t is what? Time, and your x-axis is time, and your y is altitude. All right, so go ahead and write the function. So it's the same thing as the equation right there. It's the same thing as the equation, but instead of y equals, it's the function notation thing. So this is -5. Now I'm not going to write x because it's in terms of what letter? T. So this is t and then plus 60. So go ahead and write your function. All right, cool. Now let's answer some questions. After 8 seconds, so just remember, so I don't have to keep going back. X is t, y is altitude in meters. So I'm just going to write that here somewhere. X is t, time, and y is altitude in meters. And I think the time was what's my time? In seconds. And this is going altitude. So I don't have to keep going back. So I got everything I need basically to answer my questions. So always 3 things. All right, after 8 seconds, so think about that for a second. Is that my x-axis, my y-axis? It's my x-axis because it says x is what? Time in seconds. So what is that telling me? That all I got to do is go look at when x is 8, and then it will tell me the altitude, the y. So how do I do that here? I press copy, then I press settings, and I press table. If I went too fast, go ahead and rewind the video and look. Come to the very end, hold down enter until you got a whole bunch of numbers. And I'm looking for x to be 8. What is my altitude? 20. And when you're answering this question, you're going to have to put the whatever it's talking about. So this is 20 meters. So my altitude is 20 meters. So 8 seconds, 20 meters. Right? Go ahead and tell me what your altitude is. Well, whatever your question says. All right, if the drone is 35 meters above. Oh, wait, I answered that in the wrong spot. I do apologize. It's 20 meters. I just answered it in the wrong space. So this is 20 meters. Write your previous answer in function notation. So what is function notation? This is function notation. So I want a of t, right? And what is t? T is what? Number 8. And that is equal to my y, which is what? 20. So that's function notation to represent this whole long sentence that says after 8 seconds, what will the model do? So write this. If the drone is 35 meters above the ground, and again, let's highlight whatever the question is asking us. So if it says 35 meters, meters is what? Altitude. So this time, I am being asked the y is 35. How many seconds, what is the x, will the model predict when it's been descending? So I'm just going to come down this here and look for 35. So here's 35. When y is 35, x is 5. So this is going to be 5 seconds. Okay, so don't forget to write your units. So they can ask it to you forwards. X is this, what is y? Or can they ask you backwards? Y is this, what is this? Write that in function notation. So the function notation always goes with name. This is altitude. The input, which is x, which is not 35, right? Because my x is what? Seconds. So 5, which is equal to 35 meters. So we're writing the 8th grade work into function notation. Finally, the last question, in this context of this problem, what does a of 3 equals 45 mean? So remember, this is my name, and I'm going to write some notes. So write some notes for you. This is your name. This is your input, which is usually x, and this is your output, which is y. So it's the same thing you've been doing in 8th grade. You know what x is, you know what y is. The only thing we're really adding on is your the name. Now, in order to answer this question, I need you to name 3 things, because there are 3 things in this, and you can put it in any order you want. So I know input x has to do with time. I'm going to put it right there so I can read it at the same time. And 45 is the altitude. Altitude. And name, this is the drone. Okay, I have to use these 3 things and these numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to say it's, the drone after 3 seconds was at an altitude of 45 meters. Okay, that was this way. Now I'm going to just use here, so different order. After 3 seconds, so I started here, the drone was at an altitude of 45. See? Now let me try and start here. Let's see. And my sentence can be choppy. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as you put all 3. At an altitude of 45 meters, I use the name and the 45, my drone, right, the name of the function, was 3 seconds, was at that height after 3 seconds. All right, so that one is a little bit harder. So just use the first one that comes to your mind. And for me, I'm just going to say after, and that's not how you spell after 3 seconds, the drone was at an altitude of 45 meters. Now, what you want to do before you show me this is this. Do you have all the information? So, x is, number is 3 and time. So, do I have 3 time? Yes, I do. Do I have the name of my function? That's let me try that something different. The name of my function. So let's see the drone, right? Yes, I do. And then finally, do I have my y, which is altitude at 45? Was it an altitude at 45? Yes, I do. Once I know I have all those 3 things, I've answered that question. Right. Now, all these other questions are the same exact thing. It's just the same question over and over again. Because the only difference between a table and a graph is instead of me putting in the points that I see from the graph, I'm putting it in from the table, like I'm copying it down. So again, the process is exactly the same thing. You're inputting your table, whatever that looks like. And then you're going to hit flag, zoom fit, then you're going to make the equation table. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So a gift card is being used to purchase full card trade. The amount of money in gift card is decreasing, so I should expect my slope to be negative. The balance can be modeled by GFP, excess amount of money in dollars remaining on the gift card. After 2 meals of purchase, the gift card has 74 remaining. Okay, there's my table. After 2 meals, it has 74, right? Then after 5 meals, it has 50. And what do I do? Flag, zoom fit, right? I zoomed in, so let's do that. Make sure my 2 points are right there. Right, make sure again that my points are going through my line. Yes, it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do what we always do, which is copy the equation and put in the notebook with settings table. Now I have everything I need. I hold down, I come to the end, hold down enter, and it gives me a whole bunch of values. Now I have everything I need to answer the question. I no longer need to see that. I just need to see this equation and the table. All right, so boom. I just need to now remember what the title is, my X and my Y, which it tells here the balance GP. So it's a gift card is my title. The balance GP is my Y, and then P, because that's my input, which represents the meals purchased, is my X. So I'm going to come and write down that information here. So my title is gift card. My X is meals. And then my Y is my gift card balance. So you always need those 3 things in order to answer the question. So please make sure you've written whatever your 3 things are. Now we can answer any question they give us. So it says write a function. Oh, boom, it's right here. The only difference being not use Y because it has what? This word function. So I believe mine is G of P, but I'm just going to double check. Yep, so mine is G of P. And I should write that that this is the name G P that way. I'll keep it. All right, now keep in mind if it's a little g, use little g. If it's a big G, use big G. All right, so G of little p is equal to, okay, and it's going to be -8, not x, because it's in terms of what letter? P. Let's see. After 7 meals, all right, so let's decide what does the word 7 mean. So meals, is that my X or my Y? And you can see it's my X. So after X is 7, how much money will the model predict remains in the gift card? So when X is 7, I'll have $34 left. All right, so again, you're using your question as an answer line. Write your previous answer in function notation. I want it to look like this. So I'm going to say G of P, and my P is my X, so it is 7, is equal to my Y value, which is 34. Okay. If the gift card has $42, so this time instead of it telling me X, it's giving me what? Y. So it has $42, and you can see Y is my gift card balance. So if it has $42, so now I got to go find 42 here on my Y, because that's what it's asking to me. Then it has been, what, 6 meals. That's what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and say, how many meals will the model predict to have been purchased? 6 meals. And please write the units down, don't just write the number. All right, now you're just writing that in function notation. So remember in function notation, it's the name of the function, for me it's G. Then it's the number of meals. Okay, so for me it's 6, not $42. Right? And that's going to be costing me $42. Okay, so it's always the name, X, and then the Y. All right, in the context of problem, what is G of 5 equals 50? Okay, so again, knowing that G is my gift card, X is the number of meals, and Y is the gift card balance, write this sentence in any order that you want. So as long as you use all of it. So I'm going to start here. My gift card balance was $50 after 5 years. I like that one. Okay, so that's the one I'm going to stick with. My $50 after 5 years. All right, now I'm going to highlight to make sure I got everything. So I need my name, and I'm going to call the name in, say, blue. So I'm putting my name in blue. Okay, the name. So the gift card is, that's the name right there. Oh, that was in blue. I want to color code this so that you can start to see the difference. I need 3 pieces of information. All right, so gift card is my name. Okay, the balance was $50, which is balance is green. So the balance was $50. Okay. And look, I use the word balance, right? Balance, $50. And then finally in yellow, the X is the meals. I use the number with the meals. So did I use the X? I did. Did I use the Y? I did. And then did I use the name? I did. So just make sure that when you're writing this, It has all the information that is needed. Now we're going to take a look at it from a functions perspective. Again, all of it is the same thing. What do I put in the calculator? In this case, because I don't have a graph with points or a table with points, I just have an equation. That's even better. They're saving me a trip. All right, so you can type the whole thing out, or you can just type in what is after the equal sign. Right, so if I just type in 3D, and it might want me to use X, but I'm going to see what it says. All right, now I'm going to see an error. Anytime you see an error, listen, do not be afraid. It's just a calculator. It is not a bomb. It's not going to blow up. Click the little triangle. Let's see. Try adding y equals the beginning of this equation. Sure, I can do that. Y equals. Okay, boom. That got rid of the error, and my graph has appeared somewhere, even though I don't see it. Let me hit home. Okay, so that's a button that I can show you real quick. All right, if you can't see the graph, fastest way to get there is just hit home. All right, so there's my graph. Now I'm ready to do what I need to do. I just need to know the title, the X, and the Y. So a runner has completed 8 miles towards a fitness goal. The total number of miles completed can be represented by this function, where D represents the number of additional days. So D is time in days, and the runner exercises, and MD represents the total number of miles completed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down just so that I don't have to keep going back and forth. So I've got a runner. So my title is a runner. X is D in days, and Y is, I think, the number of miles completed represents the total of miles completed. Yeah, so I'm just going to write miles completed. Miles completed. All right, so again, anytime I have my three things, I'm ready to go no matter what the question is. I've got an equation already in here for me. I need to see a table with 1,000 values so that I can evaluate it. So I'm going to click settings and table. Basically, it saved me a step from the first two examples I did. I'm going to, oh, wait a minute, something's wrong, because when I hit that table, look what happened. Okay, so it does not like the letter D. So that's good to know. So even though it made it appear, this calculator deals in Y and X. So I'm going to put X back in there. Okay, then click table, settings table, and you see we're back normal. All right, so again, the calculator likes Y and X. You just need to keep track of what is Y and what is X. So I know Y is miles completed and X is days in time. Okay. All right. So boom, there is my line, my linear function or linear equation, since I put Y equals. Now I can answer any question that they ask. So let's go ahead and do that. Write a function that represents the total number of miles completed. Boom, there's my function, only it's not Y equals because that's still 8th grade. I need the two letters, which I think it told me which letters to use. Capital M, little d. So just make sure that you're using exactly the letters that they tell you. Capital M, little d. Capital M, little d equals exactly 3, and not X, again, because X is what? D. D plus 8. All right, so again, go ahead and complete your question 1. So make sure you have the title, what is X, what is Y, and then the name of the function, and then write the actual function after that. All right, after 9 days, so because I'm using the word days, that's X. So when X is 9, so I'm going to come to the end of the table where I see the 2, click that, and then hold down enter. And I'm only looking for 9. So after 9 days, 35 miles have been completed. All right, so after 9 days, how many miles in the model was completed? You see, I don't even have to read the question to know what the question is saying because I have my title, what my X means, and what my Y means. Oh, make sure you write the units because this is 35 miles have been completed. All right, so make sure you write yours. All right, write your previous answer in function notation. So they want 9 days, 35 miles in function notation. So M of D, and what's my D? And again, if you forget, you just go and look at what you wrote. So D is my X, right? So it's my days. So I'm going to go here and say, oh, it's 9 days. So M of 9 is equal to 35 miles. Okay, so my input is 9 days, and then what I get out of it is 35 miles. If the runner has completed 26 miles, okay, so this time miles is what I'm looking for, and so what's miles? Y. So that means I come on the Y and I look for the number 26. There is 26. So if he's completed 26 miles, he has done 6 days. So how many days will the model predict the runner has exercised? 6 days. Okay, how do I write that in function notation? So I've got 26 miles and 6 days. So my name of my function is M. Then my input is D, so the one that has D is 6. And my output is miles, which is 26. So that is my function notation. Okay, in the context of this problem, what does m of 2 equals 14 mean? So again, just remember we have three things that we have to say. So I've got my name of my function, my name, and does this tell me a person? Because I know it's a runner, but is it a specific person? Nope, it's just a runner. Okay, so I'm just going to use runner. So name is runner. Then this is my input x, which is days. So I have to use 2 and days. And then 14 is my y, which is miles. Miles. Completed. All right, let's talk about my sentence. Again, the order of the sentence does not matter. All right, so you can go in any order. So I'm going to say, let's start right here. After 2 days, the runner had completed 14 miles. So you see, I've used all the words here. After 2 days, my runner had completed 14 miles. It took, here's a different order, it took my runner, so it's my name, 2 days to complete 14 miles. I like that one. Let's see, what else can I do? After 14, this one, it's hard to start on the Y actually. I think I'm noticing a pattern. Don't start on the Y, start on either the name or the X, because the Y is choppy. But I'm going to try it. After 14 miles, the runner had taken 2 days. Okay, it took to complete, okay, there it is. To complete 14 miles, the runner took 2 days. Yeah, so the Y1, starting with the Y1 is very, very difficult. So again, any order is fine. I'm going to just say after 2 days, the runner had completed 14 miles. And again, before I say that I'm submitting this, I check that I've done all three things. So name is M. So let me see, there is my runner. Then I need my X, which is going to be with 2 days. So I have 2 days in there, I do. Then I need my Y, which is going to be 14 miles completed. So I've got completed 14 miles, perfect. All right, so I've got all three in, then I'm good to go. Okay, the last one I'm going to look at is in context. So let's go see what the question says. A music school charges a one-time fee registration of $20 and then charges $15 per lesson. Okay, cool. So a couple of things that you need to know. We need to write the context of this, like the equation, so we can put this into decimals, because obviously I can't type this in here, so I don't do anything. All right, you just need to remember from our lesson on context, you've got y equals mx plus b. So write this down on yours, where m is what keeps happening. So you're looking for per, every. Okay, so you're looking for those kind of keywords, per and every. And then you've got your B, which right here, happens one time or is your start. Okay, so that's how you identify what's what. So you've got y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to go ahead and type that in so I'm ready. Y equals mx plus b. You need to put something in the calculator before we answer the questions. So to identify my m, I'm looking for the thing that keeps happening, or the words per and every. And then to identify my y intercept, it just happens one time, or it says it starts at. So I'm going to read this question again. A music school charges a one-time registration fee of $20. So look, happens one time. That's my $20. So that's my B. So my B is plus $20. Okay, go ahead and find your B. To find my slope, it's what keeps happening, and then charges $15 per lesson. So lesson 1, $15. Lesson 2, $15. Lesson 3, and I should say an additional $15. Lesson 4, an additional $15. Lesson 5, an additional $15. And this word per means it keeps happening. So that's my rate of change. That is my slope. Now you just need to ask yourself, is it positive 15 or negative 15? So does this 15 make the total go up or go down? So if I'm charging 20 and then I keep charging more, it makes it go up, so that's positive. If it made it go down, then it would be negative. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, then this becomes just like the last question. What do I do now? I make it a table. I come to the last number, which is 2, and I hold down enter and I get a whole bunch of values. Now I'm ready to answer any question that they would ask me. So number 1, write the function. I forgot to get what the name of this was. So music school. Okay, so let's write down our 3 things again. So we have the name is music school. My X is going to be charges $20 one time and then 15 per lesson. So charges $15 per lesson. So X is the number of lessons. Number of lessons. And Y, because this is a charge, is I guess a total charge. And that's going to be in dollars. Okay, so I write down my 3 things so that I don't have to keep looking. And I just need to see, do they give me something to start with? I have to use, yep, it says let capital C, and I think this is L. So I have to use what they tell me. So capital C and L. Right, so capital C and L, like that. All right, so write the function. So boom, there's the function already written. I just need to use capital C and L equals 15, and in place of X, what's my input? L plus 20. Okay, so that's my function. Go ahead and write yours. After 9 lessons, how much would the model predict the total cost would be? 9 lessons, so X is number of lessons, so X is 9. So I go to 9. That's $155. You write your previous answer in function notation. So I've got C, capital C, which is cost. The number of lessons was what? 9. L for lessons, so 9 equals my output, which is $55. If the total cost is 95, this time the cost is 95, that's my total charge. I should have said total cost, but that's fine. Is my Y. I'm going to go look for 95 on my Y right here. And so if I have a total of 95, I had 5 lessons. Okay, so I had 5 lessons. And make sure you're writing down the unit. Okay, write that in function notation. So I've got the total cost. The number of lessons is 5. So make sure it's always X and then equals Y, and the total cost is 95. In the context of this problem, what does C of 6 equals 110 mean? All right, so I have everything written out here. I just need to put it in a sentence. And I think we've established now that Y is really hard to start with. So I think I'm just going to make a rule of thumb. Let's always start with X. So after 6 lessons, the music school charged $110. After 6 lessons, it cost $110 at the music school. Right? The music school charged $110 after 6 lessons. The music school gave 6 lessons at a charge of $110. I mean, my goodness, you can say a whole bunch of sentences. It's just as long as you use all 3. All right, so I don't know which one I like the best. I'll just say the music school. So that's my name. Charges or charged $110. So that's the cost. That's my Y for 6 lessons. And I should note really what kind of lessons were these that they were charging for. Charges, oh, it doesn't say. Okay. So that's actually enough information. Now again, before I submit, I check to make sure I have everything. So again, blue is my name. Do I have my name? Yes, the music school. All right, do I have my X, which is yellow? So X is supposed to be the number of lessons. So yes, I have the number, which is 6, and then lessons. And then finally, my Y is going to be the total charge and the number. So 110 and the total charge. Boom. As long as I have all 3, I've answered that question correctly. And that's how you do function notation. So it doesn't matter what the question is. You're putting in the calculator, making an equation, because it's Y equals, making that a table so you can see all the values, and then answering whatever question they ask you. Let's practice.